APOL. APOL. OGICE.
Siri always has the
APOL. OGICE.
Siri always has the
Okay, can you guys hear me still?
Yeah, sound good.
Okay, good. First step.
Where everyone is aware, we are live. Allison, we have enough people that Allison is not yet started the YouTube. So we are live. The only flag we can put in for the Lions.
We'll get one.
Okay, thank you.
Almost forgot.
Open meeting? What?
It's fun.
Remember on vacations when like 20 paces from the beach. Oh, I'm jealous.
I hope it wasn't a Florida beach.
It is a Florida beach, but on the Gulf Coast in a county. So it's a family vacation place. So it's not a hotel.
That is safe for you to enjoy as this way.
Indeed.
Allison, when we get started, just so you know, Don has to work tonight, so Don Gibson will not be joining us.
Okay. Do you know if Phil or Pat are coming?
As far as I know, they are. Alright, well, I was outside that day.
Hello. Hello, Richard. Hello, how we doing? Good. Yeah. Did you get a book or something?
Okay, before we start, so everyone is aware, Don Gibson will not be with us tonight, he has to work. And, we have someone who will be with us, Keith Silverthorne. I'm not sure who you are, would you please unmute and identify yourself?
Yes, Ken Silverthorne, I work for the Farm Group. I'm representing.
Okay, thank you. So everybody knows that we also have Ed Pine. Ed Pine is from the 12. I'm sure that's why he's on. All right, I've got something on the flag. Dale, will you please put up the flag? And will you please all rise and join me in the pledge? I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible,
indivisible, with liberty and
justice for all.
Thank you. Okay, Allison, please do a roll call.
Dave Brutlog,
Here.
Joe Boyd, Kathy Brooks,
Here.
Jim Campbell,
Here.
Phil Morris,
Here.
Pat O'Grady.
Here. Okay, before we get started, I want to welcome any of our guests that may be joining us on the we'll have a chance to make comments or ask questions. You'll need to use YouTube and contact Allison. Allison is pulling double duty tonight. I think most of us are aware that Sarah has
He's home. He's doing well.
Yeah, he did get home today, so.
Yes.
Our thoughts and prayers are with Sarah and her family. We hope everyone coordination for all the technical parts of the meeting, so. Anyone in the audience that wants to ask questions during the open meetings, you can go ahead and start contacting Allison now. Okay, the first part of our agenda is our consent agenda. We're going to look through the minutes and the reports that we got from Sarah. I did ask Sarah to start sending out a monthly report that compares last year's income to this year's income. And so far we have not seen a hit in COVID-19. I believe the sales tax that we get now is still mostly from February. So it's quite likely that the next payment we get from the state will reflect March and April sales tax. So that could be something we'll start seeing an impact or an income. So far, I think it's looking pretty good. So first, are there any questions on the minutes or the financial statements?
Curious about motor fuel tax. It's this year.
Joe, you're a little quieter. Can you turn your volume up or?
Is this better?
Yes.
Yes.
The motor fuel tax was 30G this year, 227 grand last year.
Isn't that where that 20 came from the state went to?
I believe so.
Okay. That was
We got the extra rebuild Illinois $2,000 check or $20,000 check, and that had to go in motor fuel tax.
All right, thank you.
I believe that was 22.
Thank you, Danny. It has to be spent in motor fuel tax money, so. And that's why overall it looks like we're in good shape. Take that 22,000 out, it's a lot better. So, we'll have to continue to monitor it. I did have a question for Sarah on the Harris computer, and maybe one of the board members know. We had multiple bills for Harris computer. Who Harris computer was? Does anybody recall who that is? It's nothing I wouldn't approve, but I will ask Sarah, when she has time to follow or to let us know what that entity is for. So.
It could be the water reading software, hooking up to the, stuff that Sarah has. I don't know that for sure. But remember we had the water reading software, we had to hook it up into our MSI stuff.
Right.
The new water reading stuff. It could be that there, I'm not sure.
I didn't see the bills either, but they've had the reader guy working quite a bit setting things up for them.
Okay.
I don't know how many bills.
Yeah, Carol just said that Harris Computer is the MSI, the water software company.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Richard. Okay, any other questions on the consent agenda items? Do we have a motion to approve?
I'll do a motion to approve.
Motion to approve the consent agenda items. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a second by Joe. Allison?
Joe Boyd, Kathy Brooks,
Yes.
Jim Campbell,
Yes.
Phil Morris,
Yes.
Pat O'Grady.
Yes.
All right, Allison, if I get in a hurry here and you need more time, just ask me to slow down a little bit. I know you're busy.
Okay.
All right, first item under my report was a discussion on the compensation proposal that Phil put together for the trustees at the mayor's bank. Trustees were $75 a meeting with the maximum of 20 meetings. Mayor pay was $150 per meeting with the max of 20. And anything beyond 20 is donation time. It also has a definition of what constitutes a meeting. That graph, did that look okay to you for creating an ordinance?
Yeah, certainly it's a policy decision for the board. I can definitely prepare that as an ordinance if that's what you want. It's always a bit nebulous to define what is and what's not. Preference for you is to put a lot of it for open meeting as opposed to meetings that fall within the Open Meetings Act, which don't, I expect, a different thing, historically, and kind of had it tonight. Understand that was a proposal Phil came up with, and I'm glad to put that into an ordinance form if that's the direction you guys want to go. There's nothing legally insufficient about that, or probably some that's just that somewhat less than black, you know, a distinction, what it is and what's not. I mean, I can definitely agree the best definition meeting possible based on direction of this. So, the short answer is yes, it's okay. It might not be different if it was me, but it's not me, so it's
Okay, does the board have any, comments to make? Okay, if, I'm just gonna ask for, an opinion from the board. We can't go to enact a resolution tonight or an ordinance because it's not an ordinance form. But I would like to know from the board if they want to do this, have Pat McGrath put this in ordinance form. So Allison, we don't have a motion. Let's just
Well,
do a poll. If the
it's-
poll agrees to move ahead, we'll move ahead.
Dave, it's on the agenda.
and so two options. One, it does have to be cemented into ordinance form. So you could make a motion second to recommend some advertising for the regular August meeting. Establish a consensus or motion directing me to put that in. So, yeah, always know that. You can do consensus or you can do a motion to have everybody as a.
And I would like for somebody, one of the trustees, to make a motion, you have Pat prepare this as an ordinance.
Pat, excuse me, are you saying this has to be in an ordinance, or we can just do it the way it's been done?
It has to be in an ordinance.
Okay.
That's one of the issues one of the reasons we have to get something done, because at least looking back, the last time this was said, it wasn't done properly. State law requires it to be in the ordinance.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, and the ordinance is 98% drafted. I've got that ordinance. Phil,
Thank you.
Motion to have Pat draft the ordinance.
I second.
Okay, Joe, I didn't hear your motion. Was it to go ahead and have Pat draft the ordinance?
Yeah, yes.
Okay, thank you. Kathy seconded. Any other questions or discussion? Not Allison, please do a roll call.
Joe Boyd,
Yes.
Kathy Brooks,
Yes.
Jim Campbell,
Yes.
Phil Morris,
Yes.
Pat O'Grady.
Yes.
Okay, then, maybe by the next meeting, we'll have an ordinance that we can go ahead and have. Okay, I've got a couple of, things here that are going on, people need to get reminded of. NICOR is in the process of updating all of our gas meters to radio reads. I don't know if anybody's seen them around town, but they are actively getting those upgraded now. Follow up from COVID-19 from last meeting. We did not invite the COVID ban out here. We have not received enough information to where we can make the board and members of the public confident that it would be safe for us to have them come out. So the ban is not invited to come out here. Garage sale weekend went quite well as far as I know. Farmers market has been going real well. Invite all the residents and all the board members to visit that and support that event. This meeting obviously is to resume. I am hoping on our next meeting that unless we revert from phase 1 to phase 3, hoping we'll be in person. It will either be at the town hall or at the library, town hall or the fire department. When you meet, we will need to follow social distancing guidelines and we will need to have mask available. So, it's been a requirement Okay, I also want to talk just for a second about email. The village website has the option for residents to send me emails to the board, and there is an expectation on there that the board will, within 5 days. I would like for the board members that, unless they're going to be going on vacation, that they would start checking email at a minimum of every 2 or 3 days when they're not traveling. That way, the board members will know, and I said, unless there's a meeting, I think that's reasonable. If it is, please let me know. Okay, next on the agenda is the water and public property superintendent, Jeff Waller.
Parks have been good. It's been playing some games at the parks. I think there's probably 12 games visible. I started last week. It's going well with that. Everything's moving, tracked up. Water's been good. But we're still in a lot of it, which is good. It'll help with the bottom line, I think. Using water in the spraying of crops. I think they were at 350,000 gallons last month. Everybody's home, so I think the revenues are up probably between 15 and 20% for this month. So that beyond that, just trying to stay cool and get the work done. So.
Okay, any questions for Jeff? If not, street and zoning,
we got the salt truck, the new salt truck this month, and I used it several times. It's working out good so far. I got the backhoe this last week. It's working out really well. Tore out several sections of sidewalk in the Havens Grove subdivision, basically repairing broken panels, hazard, and things like that. So both of those are in service and working well. And Phil and I met with the salesman today and signed a meeting to talk about the latest meeting.
That's good. What you use the salt for?
Well, I call it the salt truck. The other dump truck, I call the dump truck, I guess. But I'm on limit pickup on Monday, and I used it to put rocks on the oil and tip roads in Old Town yesterday and today. So,
Okay, I just salt truck and using it.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I'm not spreading the salt yet.
Alright.
okay, does anybody else have questions for Danny? Okay, next, Village Marshal Dale Sparks.
No real major crimes going on. We have had some increase in some activity. Detail on it. Worked well with Denny on the signs and Russ and pretty much ran everything on Zoom, but checked everything on time. Russ, we all met very well. There were several parking tickets issued, but overall, with short notice on how many garage sales we had, it went very well. Other than that, we're just trying to keep things going. I have concerns with it. Nothing else than that.
Anybody have questions for Dale? Okay, if not, so we'll finish Jeff Thomas, who's not here. Does anybody know if all the sirens went off today?
We went over on the south side.
Main town, middle.
Anybody on the north side?
I'm sure the EMTs, well, I can't say that anymore because we don't have EMTs on day shift anymore, so. Okay, so the ones we know of went off, so assume they all worked. All right, we are going to start the citizens hearing now. Allison, have you heard from anyone?
Yeah, I have one,
Okay,
and it's from Barbie Emmert. And I'll just read to you what she sent me. She said, "Today I gave each trustee and mayor a letter regarding the quill. I am not asking for a vote or any decisions to be made. The letter explains better. I have asked Kathy to read the letter to let the community know what is happening, from public support and funding options being looked at. As I talk to more people, they are sharing suggestions to help." And that's all.
okay, and she said she asked Kathy to read it.
Correct.
She dropped it off this afternoon, she asked me to do that.
Okay, Kathy, would you go ahead and, I don't know how many of the trustees got this or not, but go ahead and please read it.
July 7th, 2020, dear Mayor and Village Trustees, I am writing in regards to the cancellation of the quill for Hudson residents. From what I understand, this is due to lack of funding as a result of COVID-19 and also the sole providing government funding. I am writing to explain some funding options and need for a Hudson newsletter to continue. Hudson has had a community news source as early as 1899. In 1962, our town started printing news in the Carlock Chronicle with the help of a Hudson report. Articles were also submitted to the Monolite. In 1988, our new mayor, Bill Waller, initiated the idea of Hudson Happenings. This was a combined effort of the village, township, businesses, and service organizations. Hudson Happenings was solely Hudson News, and it was great for our town. In 2007, the efforts to reduce expenses led our town to a partnership with the Quill. A friend pointed out that if we discontinue the Quill, the current history of Hudson will be completely lost. There will be nothing to look back on in writing. Our past newsletters and the Quill reach 100% of our residents. By having this form of local news shared, 100% of our residents have the opportunity to be informed quickly and kept up to date on our local government activities and available. After many, many conversations, I see that there's a need to continue with home delivery of our news. I would like to let you know what is being done to help with budgeting for the Quill or some form of local newsletter to continue. I have been in contact with a few village trustees and local government entities. Meetings have taken place to discuss ideas and funding options. When this began, I contacted residents of all stages in life. Village and township residents each has expressed the way that their family uses the Quill and whether they think it is worth continuing. My research has shown these things to be true. Funding and content. Funding. Those were bullet items. Funding, as I stated, is being researched. We should have additional information within a couple weeks. Our goal is to make this a combined effort. We have a very enthusiastic Hudson resident that would like to be our editor. She has been wanting to find a way to bring the townspeople together as a community engagement. A few years ago, when our Hudson editor retired, she was not replaced. As a result, the content being published dwindled. Coverage for our local clubs, programs, and activities dwindled. It is our mission to bring our local news back to the standards we had when we had a Hudson editor. The new editor will reach out to our local community service programs, senior programs, and children's programs. By doing this, we hope to provide information to keep the community involved. As I have gone through the different chapters in life, I have used former Hudson Happenings and the Quill in different ways. When my children were growing up, I looked first for the activities and schedules for programs our children could be involved in. Now I read the village meeting minutes to see what is going on with our local government, achieve the plans, and the impact on the community. Several of the trustees have said they want the community involved and voice their concern. How can the residents do that if we are not able to attend the village meeting until we're on after the community vote? The process of waiting until the next meeting with trustees them online leaves a large gap in time for information to reach each resident. Eventually,
Kathy?
yeah.
Kathy, hang on just a minute. Okay, when we have these citizens hearing, we're going to go in 5 minutes, and you're almost there.
Okay.
If you would,
I will, that's the rest of it.
and recap anything else, we've got about a minute to finish up.
Okay.
I don't think trustees aren't bound by limitations in this hearing, so if Kathy as trustee wants to use her time during the meeting as trustee, wouldn't fall within limitations of citizen council. If Kathy is providing this as trustee, she's merely a conduit for the citizen, and she doesn't.
Okay.
Okay, well, I'm basically it's a conduit for the resident, for the residents, I guess you'd say, and it's probably that much more time. I can't talk that fast unless I'm really crying. But the rest of it basically is a desire to establish a coalition, I guess you'd say, of individuals and groups in order to either get the quill, to save the quill in the community. The last one is, I am asking you to keep an open mind to what possibilities we are researching to help save the quill for residents. There are 1,251 postal customers that need to be informed and kept communication about the quill.
We're gonna be putting a lot of time going into putting this, letter to the trustees together. All your efforts with this, I personally am very interested in, what you're gonna find out with the research with the other clubs. And, keep an open mind about this and look forward to you coming to the board next month. And maybe you'll have a proposal or something for us at that time. I guess there's no good avenue for the board to ask Barbie any questions, so I'm just gonna ask the board, if you haven't already read the letter, and you know, they come to the board and run to or whatever. Someone comes to the board with a proposal that they consider. Allison, was there anyone else from the?
No, no, there is no more.
Okay. If not, we'll move on to the reports of the standing committees. Finance, Dawn is not here tonight. Street departments, Bill Morris.
I have no report, Nick.
Okay. I did have a question for Phil and or Danny. Has anyone come to you yet with ideas on the Build Illinois money? I had an idea about possibly putting in sidewalks, new sidewalks, and my understanding is yes, that's correct on new sidewalks. I had spoke with our MFT Farmers representative and questioned him a little bit more about what exactly we can use, and is there any particular forms we need to submit to the state on doing that and exactly how that works. And he is still kind of researching that and looking for some guidance within his organization to pass on to us to confirm how we can, what's appropriate to use that. Okay, as you or Phil hear back from him, please let the board know so we can spend that money correctly. And I know the purpose of the money is to try and help stimulate Illinois' economy. So we want to make an honest effort to use it wisely for the community and to also help stimulate the economy here in Illinois. So keep us posted. Yep, I will. Okay, thanks. Phil, if you didn't have anything else, we've got ordinance and zoning, Kathy Brooks.
Okay, I'm gonna do that a little bit out of order. We need to, Richard Lamb is the planning commission chair, and he would like to have the floor. Richard?
Planning commission, the 23rd of June to discuss the recommendation around moving the two pieces of property that are one that's annexed and the one next to it for Dollar General. Discussion around changing the zoning to C2 to allow for commercial. Just to make sure we were all aware of what was going on, and we had a unanimous decision or unanimous recommendation come to the board to change that, to go ahead and change the zoning to C2. We had nobody there outside of the committee that voiced any kind of questions, concerns, or anything at all. So our recommendation to the board is to proceed forward with changing that zoning to C2.
Thank you, Richard.
Sure. Do you, want to put that in the form of a motion?
Yes. I'd like to put a motion forward to change the zoning on the designated properties for the Dollar General. I believe there are 2 to C2 from residential to commercial. Well, one of them's agricultural still. But for both of the lots to be changed to commercial, C2.
We have a second?
I'll second.
Who was that second?
I'll second it.
Okay.
Okay, do we have any discussions or questions on zoning the land for Dollar General to C2? If not, Allison, please call the roll.
Joe Boyd,
Yes.
Kathy Brooks,
Yes.
Jim Campbell,
Yes.
Phil Morris,
Yes.
Pat O'Grady.
Yes.
Pat McGrath, does that need to be an ordinance?
The rezoning,
Yes.
the zoning amendment, that different communities handle it differently. I don't know. Or past.
Okay, good, thank you. Okay, Kathy, you want to continue?
Yes, okay. Brandon Lacey is available for questions concerning the 911 readdressing issue that the village has. I am going to give the floor to him so that and anybody who wants to ask questions, he's available to answer your questions, so we can sort of get this thing buttoned down, I guess. Brandon, sir?
Good evening. Appreciate you taking the time to have me here. Can you all hear me okay?
Yes.
I know there's been a lot of information back and forth. Being just the third mayor that I'm dealing with, so I know there's been a lot of angst on, what's actually required to be, what the outcomes are. So I guess I'll go ahead and try and address those. But I think as you need to be able to make the decision, and that's right for your community. Okay. So the first one, and I'm going to kind of go out of order on this. So question 5 on this notice then is this a state law? So is this a state law? The 911 being required to go from what everyone knows as 911 now is being changed by law. It is changed. I know I provided you to Dan. Law is. If you want, I can throw that up on the screen and share that with you. Now, however, it's going to be easier as we're answering the questions. The biggest piece on it is going to be that this is under state code 50 Emergency Telephone System Act. section 3E, talking about that every 911 system in Illinois shall provide next generation 911 service. Section 7 goes into how that system's administrated, who at the state is overseeing. And then it goes on to who's put in charge of that, which is the 911 administrator for the state. Currently is the Raleigh. And her and the 911 advisory board are the ones who set and how this is to be executed. The first piece that was done is that the city on the issue critical partners. They've been instrumental throughout the U.S. and different states. That is here because of technology. The first thing I did that you have to go through and you have to complete that. And the reason for that is on the system now, it's through what's called exchanges. So when you call 911 from your landline, it goes to a local exchange where you're at, and then it gets routed down to the central office for review. So that's down through that exchange, and then to the or you should wait for cellular access. If you want, I can pull up those numbers from last year for you, if that's something you're interested in. Count. That change, that piece for setting it down when they were building the system. And so, Dale, I know you've dealt with this, Pat, you dealt with this, and well, 911, if they don't know where they're at, that's a 50-meter radius. Put it in perspective, that's up to a 3-foot radius where they're trying to look for people. Next generation is bringing that down to a 4-meter radius and eventually with elevation. But we have to have the mapping has to be right. Because what's going to happen is now when you call 911, once the system's up and going, it's going to go to one of 2 points in the state, and it's going to the these clearinghouses, and it's going to go up to where and based off of that data, it's going to depend on where it goes. So, you're in Chicago, and precinct 1, and let's say they've got a dispatch from precinct 1, it's going to go to precinct 1. You're in the city of Bloomington, which right now is answered by for cellular, and that has to be transferred. That call will actually go directly to Bloomington, taking out that transfer time. But it's doing this based off of the map data. Segments, the way they're built. That's just the tip of it. So the next the map data that's being maintained for Hudson and the rest of the county is that data is also used in the dispatch games. These are the dispatch systems. This police department or this fire department, and that won't change very much from how that works. Yeah, you can probably say it works fairly well in that piece of it. You guys get that information, it's just going to tighten up and that, or even the cleaning if they're getting address points. The address point is going to take it from being a guess as to where it's at to where it's at. excuse me, I haven't talked to a lot of people in a while, you know, being shut in. So, there is so much, and really, I can keep talking and share more and more with you if that's what you want. I can open that up to you guys to just ask me questions.
Brandon, can you go back to your list of questions and hit some of the others there?
Sorry about that. Thank you for putting me back on track. So I'll cover that. We'll go to the if two homes are to switch numbers, one doesn't, what happens? Okay, so you're talking an absolute nightmare, Steve. Okay, so this person has 6-1, this person has 6-2, and they're supposed to be reversed. That's not a good situation. I believe what we have already identified with the television is the need to do addresses without we're looking at it, not including Pheasant Lane, not including Whitetail. This is not one address, and also that is a non-zone. That's going to be a non-zone. Next is the post office. So go ahead.
I was thinking, on Washington, there is 2 houses. One's 302, 303, and 305, or 304 and 305.
I've got 803 and 805. Let me pull the map real quick.
Okay, yeah, because there was one in one, maybe it's 801, 802, 803, and, or 801, 803, 804, and the other number was on the other side of the house. I think there was one.
Yeah, it was a weird setup on that street, even on the
Right, there were
300.
Let me get into that real quick.
Washington. I couldn't just remember seeing it on the map.
It's the north of Walnut across from Pocket Bill. Yes.
The 300 block.
Yes.
Okay, so we got 306 on the wrong side of the road, we got 305 on the wrong side of the road. So south of 30, so you got, it goes 305 to 308. Well, 306 has already been used by across the street. We don't want to reuse it. That is going forward and not reusing. On the odd side of the road, it goes 303, 306, 309. So it's there. So okay, that was missing off that. And this is and that's there. So they're on the wrong side of the street. It's supposed to be. Yes, there's supposed to be an even address. And the clean up their relationship without reusing addresses.
For some reason, I was thinking one of those was a reuse.
Yeah, originally, the reuses that we were looking at was Whitetail and Pheasant Lane, and with those, no options the 100 block rent instead of that needed 200, just continue reusing any items, because that's, we want to stay away from that cost. The Pheasant Lane, that was the that way you were only, and I say only, I've been relative numbers, not that it's roughly the hardship, but it's impacting 8 people versus.
Brandon, for that specific question, the answer is we can complete this without doing an in-address line.
Correct. Correct. And we can, yeah, from everything I see.
Go on with the next question.
Whatever the consequences for the homeowners not changing their addresses. So that's if you have an ordinance for addressing, which I haven't found, doesn't mean there isn't one, it just means I haven't found. And so that's going to be really with, and you know, I've got reflected ordinances. The others that want to read the ordinance there's no addressing that's done in the village to house in the village. Here's the penalties for not having it. Sounds like you're supposed to, here's, you know, by changing it at this time, like you're supposed to, it's allowing you to go as great as you to one that was pages long. And the part, there is part of that, the pages long one that I did like, and it talks about, and the reason I liked it is it talks about why and get the emergency services to be outside of that, the reason. Question is, who's responsible to pay for the bills for passport, TSA, needs, etc. That's up to the village. But coming to you and saying, here's what this is for us to do. How you guys approach it, that's, you know, up to you. So, the village of New York, like a credit on the water bill. If you had just and if you were one that had the stone in the house, they didn't do it. But that was how they chose. There was no requirement, and they did it. And they had 100 animals that we could go. You know what? Let me pull up what they did. They did not use. Genoa had 136 animals. And they didn't do any reimbursement. So, I've seen the range on this one. If you were to add 103, that they did. So, compared to a lot of numbers of actions that they fixed, they both did something completely different with the finances. It's something in the middle where they went and if people asked for help, they helped. But if not, they didn't. Letters on the side of people's homes, helping with that and doing those expensive. And the post office have to be notified. That's going to be the minutes that I was going to get. This is 511 dash 80 dash 8. And that's the number of lots. Area invoice possession number has changed in the post office branch. Serving that the easy part with this, with the post office and with the Board of Elections, is that so the village this needs to be done. And then take that and I give that to the Board of Elections. Pause in the any changes in the system about 30 days prior to the last election. But I didn't had the chance to look, but we also took these Excel lists that we put on in the election. So that way, these still were allowed to vote, but it didn't impact that route of the election. So we can't even watch it. To get back to that list. With the bills and all that, utilities, I take care of notifying with these with the tri-state department for making sure that these happen and that these changes go through. So the customer isn't having to try and get a copy of that letter to them, make the change. That it takes a bill cycle or two after it goes into effect, the new address goes into effect, and then it's taken care of, so they don't have to mess with it. So they're not having to they're not having to deal with election. Excuse me. They're not dealing with utilities, elections, or post office. They're, and I'm talking again just utilities. Telephones like landline, if you have Frontier landline there, that address is already on file. I haven't had any issues, knock on wood, yet with anybody on that. All this going through, people were having trouble with getting their driver's license changed. The people told them, and this is pre-COVID, they went in. And somebody turned them away and let me get me and me. Then what happened in Lexington? You don't know what's going on. I had a conversation with the manager on that location. And the government authority, and that letter is saying, this is the person's address. They have to take it without anything else because no mail is going to have come yet. Most likely in that 30 days to do it because mail you can probably talk to how much time they have to update their driver's license.
Yeah, they've got plenty of time, and right now, there's a lot of grace period.
Right. So, it all depends on when they on that. Let me tell you, the has been corrected. Problem. I will go down with them. I want this to be costs for any of the individuals that have to have this.
Randy, are there other questions on the list?
Yeah, so, one that was sent was highlighted. This was the conversation, email that was sent to Cindy, by Dale, and on behalf of, Dan, where the highlighted section that was actually, this knowledge is not required to operations. And this is process. Try and represent the way that entrances currently are in the railroad. But municipalities should be mindful of the following possibilities. Okay, so it says, here is the possibilities. The data will not load into the statewide database. If there is an error in the data, it will not load. Isolated to that specific section of the data and within a community. So we have streets that have issues. And that information not working, we can't go on them. That means that the 911 system does not know it's there. The system we create all of that and part of everything we fix part of the system. Now, again, come back to we close that section down. Keeping the entire data set for the county for specific data. Again, that one. Now, going on to but going down further past that is delaying the response of Congress. This is the crucial part. We are required to get to places in a time frame. 911 is required to, as long as everything's correct, and get information. Fire is required by FPA to get there within a certain amount of time. System to be there within a certain amount of time. And these are things that are governed by state and federal laws. Those requirements are if everything's right. There's an issue with a piece of data, which means you have addresses in the wrong area. 100 acres in the 200 block, evens on the outside of the road. What happened? You're going to delay response. Here's where it becomes even more crucial. You guys had your own ambulance, people who knew your area, who would be around these little odd pieces. Okay? But that was one ambulance. Why you had that? But that one ambulance is on a call. Now you're bringing in an ambulance from somewhere else that doesn't know it. Well, now you have good, but they're coming into an area they don't know. And so these little odd issues can cause delays. Dale, he's out on a call, or one of his officers are out on a call, and they need somebody to respond. It can be an issue. Or you have county covering your times when you're not here, when one of your guys aren't there. I know those of you who have been first responders or first responders know that there is sectors a good outcome, whether somebody having a heart attack in ambulance service to them, or whether it's a law enforcement officer calling for assistance. So those are the risks that we run into by not making the adjustments.
I have a question.
Yes, sir.
Let me screen on Whitetail. Can you tell me exactly what is wrong with Whitetail and what needs to be changed?
Yeah. Let me put this up. So Whitetail.
If you can display the whitetail map, that might help in your explanation.
Yeah, I can do that. Take me a second to load it onto this computer screen.
Janice, are you aware that we have two streets there that are both U-type streets? And both of them have the same problem. So when you see this on one, it applies to both streets.
And what is the problem though? I guess that's what
I'm going to show you that here in a second. As soon as I can get this.
While you're trying to pull it out.
Yeah, so it's the way that the live ranges are going. So you go from okay, disable participant screen sharing. So the host, whoever's running that, will have to allow me to share.
Okay.
You can just make him a co-host.
My options are make a host. Do I do that?
Yeah, if you do that, then it goes.
Okay. Thank you. Okay, you should do it.
I promise I will get it back.
Okay.
Okay, so you can see my screen here.
Yep.
And this is it's available to everybody for free by the county. Do I need to enlarge it? Or can you guys?
Yeah, you can see it.
Okay. So your 100 block comes in 103, 107. Okay. Come around. Okay. You guys can hear. Oh, 110. And then 203, 2. And the reason why that's important. Your fire events at least that here. One. They're going here, not here.
And it can't be plugged into their system just with the way things are now.
So what you have happened, this is I'm taking you. This is I'm talking to you from a first responder perspective.
Okay.
So this is looking out the window. And so they come into 100 and they start to come around. I'm pointing at my screen like you guys can see my hand.
No.
So they come in and they're looking this way and they're expecting. Now, Dale and your local firefighters and EMTs.
And you're telling these people that you were changing. I guess I mean,
no. Some people have the ability for this to show up in your hand. They have the ability to access the CAD from
okay.
most of them. Actually, one equipment has it. Every other one does not. So, it's not doesn't even have the connectivity. So,
I can see a big city like Chicago, this can be used.
hold on. I just got the screen so I could see who was talking, was that Joe?
Yeah, Joe.
So, the problem is it's not that being a large city, it's the way
mean, you know, for you to say that they'll go, they're looking for 201 or 215, that must mean they're looking for something wrong with it. So, I mean, is there a date where with the cell phone is an ordinance that the 911 operator is going to tell the police this call is at 215, but it's really 201, you know what I'm asking? Like, is 911 going to start giving out these addresses based on ordinance? Can't keep giving out the old ordinance, the old addresses.
So you got two different questions there. The first question is that if you call from 215, it's still going to show 215 on the system.
Okay.
So you're not going to have, that's a non-issue. And again, like we talked about earlier, we're not going to be swapping addresses. We could just be doing new addresses. As for the answer of how a first responder is going to do their EMT is actively something areas, I don't know. It's slow down, head out the window. I'm not going to look at it. There's a couple of reasons for that. That one, you're going to be talking scene safety, knowing what you're in front of you. And if you're focused on a screen, it's a recipe for disaster. But enough of that piece. It's roll the dice or the
Question on that, if you're an EMT responding, you always have two people, don't you?
you do. You're still both looking out for that location. Here, but I know I'm going to hear something about Google or Apple Maps. And I can tell you, they're wrong with each other. That area, it's not actually getting you there. There are times where they do have experience. But I've seen it's failed there, so responding. I can show you, I can pull up stuff, show you some of this other items that we actually work on and how this stand behind the scenes. I'm not opposed to and I want to answer every question you guys have.
Brandon, I think with the staffing we have at the police department, we have more EMT deputies coming in. I have less of domestic, and with the fire department now, you know, first responders. I see what you're saying. I personally believe there should be some. Because with 100, 200, goes to 201, 203, so on and so forth. You know, it's a one-time change.
If you come into Whitetail Lane from the south, your first number is going to be, what, 227 or?
It's you would have to be high to save people, and I believe Dave, you and $127 or something like that. You always have with U drivers. You always have. And it would have made sense, almost made sense, if Whitetail was a different
now with Lexington Canyon, how did they find Whitetail Lake?
Actually, by the time they got there, I'd already transported one of the vehicles to us. He came to the police department. But he was asking for directions at the time.
So they can't even get to the stream.
They never got to the street, that's where he was headed. But he was a part-time officer for Lexington. So, first of all, he didn't know Hudson well at all. And by the time he got there, he didn't have to get to the police.
Okay, but if they were trying to find Whitetail Lake, even the regular police, you know, they would need directions on how to get there, wouldn't they?
Yes, they would. Like that.
Okay.
One question for you, have you had any Bank County looking on this?
Hudson under dam, and I have so
Has Normal completed theirs?
what?
Has Normal completed theirs?
Normal has not. There's a reason for that one. Here's what I mean completed. Aerosmith, Anchor, Bellflower, Carlisle, Stone, Colfax, those were completed. In progress, and then the 100 Anchor's house. So that means him and his neighbor are flip-flop. Neighbors handling this to get the rural communities done first because there's less changes. We did a normal, we're both looking at
And they're planning on changing them?
for safety reasons. I guess that's without having dealt dove headfirst into it. I've also got Western Illinois University, their GIS department that is looking at all this data, and as part of the grant I got from the state. So they got a major undertaking to do.
Hey, Brandon, were there other questions on the list? I want to
No,
make sure.
there was the 5 and then
Do I understand you correctly? You said 5,000?
Bloomington Normal?
yes. Now, that's just off the computer. Checking each one. To put it in perspective, we're right at about 1,000 addresses throughout the county. Your addresses would be right around 20.
I have one question about east and west roads. So what
Yes, sir.
is Broadway is down, so anything east of Broadway is
So your town is, it's what's called a pinwheel.
okay.
Pinwheel addressing, and let me tell you. Right here. This is your center of town. When your town was established. So Franklin, everything north of Franklin, south of Franklin. That's why you've got your west here and your east here. And then it really confused me what was going on because as we were going through and looking at it, it's like, okay, our north side here, and then come down just a second.
South of Franklin.
Oh, it was the flip-flopping of the east and west. Even not the north. 311.
Yes.
208 here, and 201 here. That's south of Franklin. That's,
So Franklin is the north-south.
yep, divide your north-south, and front divide your east-west.
Broadway is not east-west.
Yep.
Front Street.
Front Street, I'm sorry, Front Street is your east and west. Yes.
We only have 1-2 blocks of west in our town.
All right, and when you said these the individual ones down on Washington Street that you were gonna change, so wrong side of the road, you're gonna change that back to where the evens and the odds are on the same side or on the right side of the road? Or on the,
Following your addressing layout, the way the addressing is done. So on the north side of town, the odds are on the east side.
yeah.
So you're
When you first started the conversation, you were talking about the 300 block of Washington Street.
that's what I'm at right now.
And there's one house there that's on the wrong side of the road. It's either an even or odd side of the road. And I thought,
305 Washington.
right,
That was the odd numbers.
and you're gonna change that to an even one.
Correct, so that one would change. So that one on the list would go to 304. This one here would be 304, and this one would be 307.
Okay. Okay.
And then the 800 block, which was the other part of North Washington that was identified.
That's it, one over there, over Havens.
So this year, you can there's, so I see this done, I've seen where this is a different street. It's not like that. You can get it where you sign, but this should be any, because the west side of the road is an even on the east side. Or on the north side of Franklin.
Can you go to 210 East Walnut?
Post office,
Yeah, and the house next door to the east of that. What's the address now?
210. Still got a ways to go. This one. You said 210 East Walnut, right?
And that's the one east of the post office.
Okay.
210.
Here's Walnut. I got 312 East Walnut here, 301 East Walnut. I got 207 East Walnut.
Well, if Front Street's divider. Hold on a minute. This was.
Are you talking 110?
Yeah, well, you're changing it to 110, right? Or is
That's
it
110. That's 110 right now.
It's 110 now?
Yeah. So I can show you.
So that'd be the first block. Okay, it'd be the first block east of Front Street.
Okay, so yeah, here's Front Street.
It'll be 110 east. Okay.
So the post office is wrong too. Well, you've also got,
Post office is
Yes, I believe.
this one here.
See, Couch's address there, 104 Walnut, is across from 110.
And let me check the list. So I've got 101 East Walnut, then, so 101 East Walnut, 113 East Walnut, 412 East Walnut going to 300. Washington. Maybe with a zoning, something with
Well, they changed the door.
Whole house, change
Yeah. So,
Okay.
I don't know, Kathy, if so, if that address is changed.
It has not changed that I'm aware of, but it needs to be changed to North Washington. That's the one that's supposed to be 301.
Okay, so, I just need a letter for that. And I'll get that, so you give me that letter, and I can get that to the post office. Normally get the next.
We get 300 then instead of 301. It needs to be even.
No, double check this. Yeah, this would be even, so this needs to be 300.
Okay, sorry.
That's okay. And so you could actually do, it would be 304. You could go 302 or 300. So, if
That one's a special case, so let's not get into that one.
so I'm just giving you, yeah, just the options there. But however you guys choose to move with that. And then there was one on Atlantic South, correct?
It's east, west, south of.
301. So this one would be
It's a church.
yeah. Yes, sir. But there's the easiest way to explain when you're fixing addresses and when you're doing addresses. You've got the one that you've got the just get stuff done, and then you've got text. I do not know text. Text would be line up right across the street. Oh no, we got 104 here, right below should be 105, 103, and it's we got 102. It's not. So do what will get it done, what will not, what will impact the least amount of people possible.
Well, change of address is a change of address. Looking at the Christian church, it can easily be Clayton address.
So do you address off the front door, correct?
It should have been originally the front door, you come off the plane, if I remember right.
Probably this door here or this door.
Came, wait, yeah, originally came off the fire, remember the front door. And that's like the time they faced Pine Street, so they did with issue.
The other part is there is the assessors, the tax lawyer piece of it. And I've worked with assessment to make sure that's a smooth transition also on those addresses. I've got
And you said this map is available to the public.
yes, sir.
Like,
So if you go to, you see this one address here. You, for some reason, if you just put it in that way, it won't work. And then this map is right here, the interactive map. Okay, click there. And then that brings you over to what we're seeing here to get the address points. This is the over that
okay.
like that. And then you get your address points here. And then either address full or address
I'm just sure. People want to see that map, that's the reason I'm asking. We have that map, so we asked. Thank you.
Yeah, and that is something too, we want to encourage, use this map. There's other things that are on here that you can get to from the site that families will find usable: greenways, trails, locators, winter road conditions. And then, of course, we're working with census. That's actually how Kathy and I started talking, where she didn't want to hurt me. And then just other maps that have been developed that are free for download, and all of our data that's on here. So, farmers work, if you guys are still on here, you can go that I would share with,
Brandon, we need to get this back on track, because we've got a lot of board members here, and I can't turn this into an advertisement for my website, so. Okay, does anybody on the board, you've gone through all the questions, and we appreciate that. And does anybody on the board have any questions for you at this time?
Last question is, could we do, I mean, the ones in town where there's just one house on the wrong side make a lot more sense to me, trying to write something. Could we just change those and then not change the ones in Prairie View where things are longer? So an all or nothing thing.
You can make the changes that you're feeling comfortable with.
Okay.
The choice of go as far as you're willing to go, but understand that the areas that have been identified, if you have problems with it, you already know.
Okay, does anybody else have any last questions for Brandon? Brandon, I know you had a ton of knowledge about this, and you've spent a lot of time working on it. And on behalf of the board, we want to thank you for your time tonight. And I'm sure we're going to be coming up with additional questions, so we'll try and channel those probably if we can to get to you. Although I want the board to also feel they can contact you directly. So for now, I think our board needs to get together and decide where we're going to go next. And I'm sure we're going to be in touch with you.
Okay. Let me know if you need me at another board meeting. Definitely do that too. Use me as a resource. That's what I'm there.
Thank you, Brandon.
Thank you.
Thanks, Brandon.
Okay, I'm gonna go on. I have, 2 other things actually on my agenda, and then hopefully everybody else doesn't have a lot of stuff on there. I have an ordinance for the Dollar General to waive the subdivision plat application procedures. I believe everyone has already received a copy of this. And, Kathy Graff, are you still there?
Yes, ma'am.
Why don't you give the board a general synopsis of this, and then I will call for a motion.
Your existing subdivisions ordinance appears to be a carbon copy off the town of Laurel's. It's certainly geared towards non-small towns, relatively exhaustive subdivision process, subdivision approval process. That process makes a lot of sense if you're going to see another program or a similar large residential development. In this case, we're really replatting 3 lots, which includes splitting off one from a larger tract. There's no new streets, no new utility mains. It's a very, very, very simplified subdivision. Many small communities allow in their code for waiver of preliminary plat, only a final plat approval process for subdivisions of this size. I didn't find it in your ordinance, so I simply prepared an ordinance to waive some of those procedural prerequisites that would place additional burden from the developer of this project that really aren't necessary in a subdivision like this. So the ordinance actually apparently approved the plat that's been tendered by this project. it simply is replanting existing lots.
Okay, Mr. Silverthorne, did you have any comments from your perspective?
No, I think Pat said it specifically, our ordinances are written for bigger communities, and, you know, it is a pretty exhaustive process to do, what you'd be talking to if we had to follow the essence of, like you said, this is more of a commercial development, you know, the ordinance is written for 50 lots or something like that, kind of things, where this is more of a, just a one-shot type deal where there's not gonna be any new public improvements or anything, just what's required.
Okay. Kathy, you wanna go ahead and put this into motion form?
Okay, I'd like to make a motion to approve the ordinance for the simplification of a subdivision plat for Dollar General.
Kathy, that's ordinance 1341.
Thank you.
Hey, do we have a second?
I'll second it, Joe.
We have a second from John. Is there any additional questions or discussion from the board? Not Allison, will you do roll call?
Joe Boyd,
Yes.
Kathy Brooks,
Yes.
Jim Campbell,
Yes.
Phil Morris,
Yes.
Pat O'Grady.
Yes.
Pat McGrath, thank you for preparing this and working with everybody on this.
Okay, the last item I have on my list, actually is, I sent out the building code fees. The final one is in the year 2020. And the file I sent out, apparently I screwed up the files I sent out, so I resent them to everybody. The Excel file contains the new construction fee projected out through 2030, and the improvement fees, it has sort of been condensed a little bit, because it went, like Denny and I discussed it, it went from $500,000 to $1 million in improvements, and then $1 million to $5 million, and then $5 million to $10 million. It's like, if somebody's doing that kind of improvement, that's gonna be a new building. So we condensed it down to $1 million or more. You know, and have it based on about per $1,000 of estimated cost for that improvement. And on the new construction, like I said, it's basically about a penny a year. And the 2020 and 2021 new ordinance construction fees per square foot are the same, and then they increase by a penny per year. The Word document was a copy of the 8-1-3-3 permit requirements ordinance. And in it, I highlighted in yellow all the things that I would like to change. On the two charts for the evaluation of new construction and evaluation of improvements, those are in the Excel sheet. The other items, I put a red text next to them what I wanted, and it basically was changing from $25 permit fee for fences, parking, and sheds to $50, as well as changing the $40 permit fee for re-roofing decks, pools, and driveways, replacements and additions, from $40 to $50. So it's a minimum of $50 basically for everything. And which also made on what was page 3 underneath the second chart, it said minimum permit fee for all permits is $25. Basically, I'm putting there just to remove that. And like I said, I screwed up on the files, so everybody probably should review what I sent this evening. But it's basically just updating. I was concerned because the fees were the last listed fee was 2020, and we're in 2020. So it needs to be updated. Also on the chart that had the improvement fees, I found out if you click on the little square and change the text and make it smaller, it will pull in 2018, 19, and 20. It's actually there, you just can't see it.
Okay, so when did you send out the last documents to the board?
The last ones I sent out was just before the board started.
Okay, I'm gonna make a suggestion that
It
we
was 6
table it for a month and
Yeah.
give everybody a chance to really look at it. Because we don't wanna do stuff by the seat of, fly by the seat of our pants. We
No, I
really
did not expect anything about today.
So,
Kathy, can I ask a question?
Yes, sir.
Well, I have worked with Denny most of the time on some of your zoning issues and issuing permits, just the enforcement part of it. And I would like to see, like, a house, you got a year to complete, if they do a room addition or a shed, then they have 2 or 3 months, the neighbors don't have to look at construction site for a $150 shed for a whole year to be completed. And then they can do a whole bit more enforcement on something. We got, with Danny to inspect, he goes, well, I've got a whole year to complete this thing, so you can't come on my property. It was a cheap shed. So I'd like to see those dates change, so they don't have a whole year to put a shed in that.
I actually sat back, I didn't really think of that.
All permits are good for 1 year. Currently.
Okay, I was gonna ask you about the
That's,
farm.
if it's a house or a garden shed or a pool, you have 1 year for issuance to complete.
Even a roof, so, you start a roof, you take the whole year, put a roof on, it's an isolated problem for the entire community.
Okay, I'm thinking, who would do that, but then you,
It's more common than you would think.
okay, I wanted to, like, Friday morning, be done by Friday afternoon, and I don't want to ever see you again. Okay,
Okay, Kathy, I'm gonna suggest that we go ahead and make sure you get the fee changes on next month's agenda. And then everybody will have plenty of time to review it. And then changes, the other changes we're talking about as far as maybe only allowing 2 months or 3 months for a shed versus a whole year for a building. That can also be a next month or 2 months, depending on how long it takes to get that background information all put together.
yes,
But we can at least use that next month.
okay. Alright, the only other comment I had is, just a census update. Hudson is at 86.8%, and the state is at 66.7%. Andrew, I already took the, Outback gift certificate to the office, so.
All right, I believe the census people have said that they're gonna start doing the door-to-door part of the census pretty soon. So,
I think originally,
I see them around town.
yeah, they originally were gonna do it in the May and June, and that's not happening, needless to say.
Right.
If you find out they're going out, let us post it if you would for the police department. If you know they're coming, we'll put it on Facebook so people know.
Okay, I will check on that in the morning.
Okay, Kathy, did you have anything else?
No, sir, that I have, nothing else.
All right, thank you. Adam Grady, police.
Yeah, we'll try to keep this short. A couple of weeks ago, the mayor and chief and myself met and discussing other police officers what options we want to take. And I put on there to discuss and possibly vote if needed to redistribute funds from the police salaries to cover hiring of a part-time officer. And I'm not sure, I was talking to both of them, that we even have to vote on it because the money's there. We're not asking for any more, we're just asking to take some of the money from this section on the left and pay a part-time police officer for the remaining of this year. And maybe Pat McGrath could jump in there and say, does it have to be voted on? But the money is in.
Yeah, and I'm sorry, Pat, I don't have your budget in front of me, but there isn't a distinction made on the budget between, police salary.
I guess I just needed, if anybody has a problem with that, but that's what we were looking into to try to get some more coverage.
I don't see a problem. You said it's coming out of the regular, already budgeted
It's
items?
coming out of overtime that we would have paid for a police officer, and we're going to use that to hire a part-time police officer for the remainder of the year.
When we did the budget, we allowed a half a year's salary for a new chief when I leave this fiscal year. But if we hire the new chief in May, he still has till November next year to be trained. And the money's in the salary line, so we could use that money, hire a part-time and have more coverage on the street.
Hey, instead of hiring a replacement chief for 6 months of this budget year, we may hire him closer to the end of the budget year and then use the difference in the salary to bring in some part-time help, so we get more patrol hours.
Correct.
Have you had anybody interested in the?
I can't actively seek until I have money to pay them. And then I can give them an idea of what hours are available and see what hours are available to work. Now, we do have two part-timers who really can't work for us. They need to come off of our roster and find somebody new. Not that they're not good officers, just don't have the time to give us that we need.
What extra hours do we feel we need to cover, like overnight or something?
Well, at least some more in the afternoons, yes, for sure. Into maybe as late as 2 o'clock in the morning. Yes, we need more coverage.
Okay, so is there a, so I can just
Do we have problems at 2 o'clock in the morning?
We have calls. We've had some locks cut off from some of our storage units in the last month. I don't know when they were there and cut them off, but I know they have been cut off.
Those little, not nice people.
So, yeah, there is some activity in the evenings and again, of course, they didn't identify themselves when they were doing it, but
They should have. That would only be polite.
it would have been, yes. But, so yeah, we could use some more coverage in the evenings.
Okay.
So I guess I'm looking for consensus. Okay, we should go ahead and do that and give Dale the okay to start looking.
I will put forward a consensus vote on that. Or however you want to
Or
phrase it.
if there's any objections.
Okay.
Okay, I'm gonna do, Allison, will you do a quick roll call just to get a consensus of, it's okay to use some of the money that we have for police chief for a part-time officer?
Before doing that, I'd suggest, just because it may be better to just call it a consensus and not roll call it. Once we get into roll call, we're pretty close to a vote, and either we'd have to motion in a second and put it within the agenda item, or not vote at all. So sometimes along the lines of what Pat was suggesting, it is easier to do a speak now or forever hold your peace moment, where if anybody objects, speak up now, and if we don't hear any objections, we'll assume that's consensus.
Oh, thank you, Pat. We will do exactly that. So if any of the trustees have any objections or concerns with doing that, please speak now. Otherwise, Pat, you have the okay to start doing that.
I mean, if we spend this money now, Pat, for part-time, and we do find, we won't have money later to hire a chief for half a year, is that what you're saying? Like we'd hire the chief with only 3 months left in the year, and then we'd have 3 months money to spend?
Well, no, the chief would have to train a new person coming in to take his position.
Uh-huh.
We could actually do that the next fiscal year, Joe. Because if the next fiscal year starts in May, I hope to leave in November. It'll give me 9 months to get him trained. So we could actually delay hiring a new chief until the new fiscal year next year.
Joe, to answer your question, though, I believe the answer is yes. That is correct.
My
It
concern
will at
is-
least delay the hiring of a
Hey, I got
replacement
it.
chief
So now I
towards
just
the
wonder
end
if
of
I
this
have to,
budget
like-
year or the start of next budget year.
Yeah, my concern is that
Do you know
you
her
can't necessarily
password?
just hire somebody when you want to.
Well, I
You
think
can
she
hire
told
only
me.
when people are
Oh, hold
available,
on, I think I
right? I mean,
remember.
it's like buying a used car or
Okay, I
something.
think
You
I'm good
can't
now.
just buy one anytime. It's only when someone shows up.
Maybe.
So it's like if we spend the money now and someone shows up
Okay,
and
thanks.
is a good hire, but we
Bye.
don't have enough money to pay them the rest of the year, so they move on. Is what I'm saying making sense at all? I mean, if we spend the money now and
All right, can you
we're
guys
limiting
hear me
ourselves,
now?
how early in the year we can hire someone, right?
Well, at the very earliest, we can hire him 6 months into this budget.
Right. So, but if we spend 3 months worth of money, then we can only hire 3 months in. If someone showed up earlier, we wouldn't be able to hire them because we wouldn't have enough money left.
I think if we were to hire a chief now, it's my personal opinion, if we were to hire a chief now, you're gonna have 2.5 chiefs and no Indians to work. So if we hire them in May, you would have more than enough time to train somebody of that caliber, because you're gonna be hiring somebody with that caliber. And that would be out of next year's budget, and we'll be under budget salary paying a part-timer for this fiscal year.
So you are right, Joe. That is a risk that we would be taking if we allocated the money to hiring part-time officer rather than looking for a new chief, 6 months into the budget year. Not all that money would be there to hire a new chief. That is correct, Joe. Did I see Sarah Hill joined us?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes.
We had computer problems, the battery died, so I had to find the charger and. Yeah. I'm not. So I did not catch a lot of that, so, I apologize for that.
Okay. Will the recording have the information?
It should, because it was still running on the desktop. So I'll just go back and check on that.
To kind of summarize it, we're discussing whether or not we want to take money that we would have spent hiring for a police chief halfway through the budget year, spend some of that money or all of it on a part-time officer, and then delay hiring a new police chief till either close to the end of the budget year or at the end of the budget. Dale, would you agree with that? Pat?
That's correct.
Yes.
Thank you.
So with no objections, I would say Dale, go ahead.
I think Joe has some reservations, so maybe we need to look at doing this on a temporary basis, the hiring our part-timer, but maybe not quite as many hours. Do we still have some of the money to hire a new chief before the end of the budget year?
I'm at your direction at this time. I just know we need more bodies on the street.
Yeah, I just want to have the money available if someone good shows up, right? I mean, that's the thing.
Okay, Pat, why don't we put some numbers to it? How many hours of part-time help we can hire if we use all of the
chief's money and if we would use half of it, of what we allocated. I think Sarah told us how much money she put in the budget for a new chief. See how many hours that gives us and see if that would probably fulfill the needs, see where we're at with that.
All right, Dale?
Yeah, I think we've done that. We figuring roughly $20 an hour, 3 days a week. We'll be well under the budget of the temporary hours that or the hours that we had planned for a new chief. Again, if we bring a new chief on this fiscal year, we'll be paying him almost an entire year before he takes the position. Now that's money that I think it'd be a waste of money personally, but again, it's been decided already. So
I'm sorry, what was decided, Dale?
well, I mean, we budgeted for a part-time or a half a year for a chief's position.
Right.
We really won't need him for a year. So if we hire him in this fiscal period, we're paying 2 chiefs to salary. When we need the patrol on the street.
We wouldn't hire a chief until next May, correct?
At the very earliest, because then you'll have till November for training.
Yeah, absolutely.
If anybody wants to come to the office, I can gladly show them on the spreadsheet how that'll work out. Joe, if you wanted to come by or something, I'd gladly sit down with you and go over it.
Okay.
Okay, can you two do that? And then, Joe, if you still have concerns, let me know or let Pat know.
Okay, yeah, I mean, I'm fine with it. I'm just trying to understand. I mean, you wouldn't have 2 chiefs. Wouldn't the new person you hired do street work, or if you're hiring him as a chief, he wouldn't do patrols? That's just how it works.
We're hiring him to do chief and patrol. So he would have to, one, learn the street and also some of the yearly, monthly, weekly reports that I have to turn in.
I mean, we're hiring someone with experience, though, so I mean, you'd have to train him to do the streets. Yeah, I don't understand how it works, I guess. So.
Well, it's not just the street, but you gotta learn the town. I didn't realize we don't have a big town, but we have areas that have specialties, you might say, something to expect from individuals, et cetera.
Okay.
I would offer 2 suggestions just from other professional experience. One, you know, if Dale's retirement date is November, you know, depending on the strength of the candidates, you're looking, you know, May would probably seem even early to hire somebody. You know, and I certainly defer to Chief's feelings on how much training be needed, but it would seem unusual to me to hire too far in advance, because I've seen those situations where, you know, the new chief is antsy to get his, once he feels like he can do the job, he's antsy to do things, you know, his way, and it doesn't create the best working conditions to have 2 people, you know, overlapping in that mentorship role for too long. So there's kind of a sweet spot to it, and, you know, from other experiences, including one where probably that overlap was too long, I'd suggest that I think Dale's feelings on May being the soonest is probably a really good place to look at it from. And would just caution on that trap of hiring too soon. Even if you have the right person, it can create a negative dynamic. Second factor you may wish to consider, I understand in respect to Joe has some concerns, and, you know, from a consensus standpoint, I know we like unanimous consensus, but unless Dale has somebody he'd like to hire, it may take a few weeks to get, you know, a candidate identified that he would want to go forward hiring. So, you know, if with Dale feeling like he needs some extra support on the street, you may want to give him the approval to go forward with soliciting candidates. That doesn't obligate you to certain scheduling, you know, to maintaining a certain level of the part-time guy and necessarily, you know, infinitely guaranteeing him hours, but at least gives Dale the ability to start and go forward with that. And if consensus evaporates, you can certainly change gears. You're not hot committed, so to speak, just on the kind of initiation of hiring process. But just from my perspective, 2 thoughts.
Thank you.
Yeah, if everyone feels we need more coverage, I mean, I'm fine with it. I just, I feel safe in Hudson, so maybe that's because we have lots of coverage. I don't know.
Okay, thanks, Joe. Dale, I want to swing by again this week and let's look at your spreadsheet. See how many hours we're looking at.
Sounds good. I appreciate that.
Okay. Okay, does anybody else have any concerns? And thank you, Joe, for stepping up there and voicing your questions. So, does anybody else, other trustees, have questions or concerns about doing this? Okay, if not, I think, Pat, we have the okay to proceed. Dale, I'll swing by this week and let's go over the numbers and.
Sounds good.
And we'll go forward then.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, Pat, did you have anything else for police?
No, I'm all done.
Okay. Water Department, Joe, have you got anything?
Nope.
That's good. How about public property? Jim? Parks?
Nope.
All right. So everybody knows our parks are open. The state said do not open your water fountains yet. And I think restrooms are now starting to become optional up to the municipality. And as of this point, we've decided not to open our restrooms. So, and I know the Hudson Havoc, which is a primary user right now, understands that and agrees with that. So I think we're in good shape there. And I don't know how many of you have been up, looked at the ARC that's up there and the work that's Women's Club finance for powder coating some of the playground equipment and for staining it, but that ARC looks almost brand new up there. So if you know any members in the Women's Club, make sure you thank them for their donation to get that work done. Okay, the next part of this is Liquor Commissioner and 2 items. One, the rebate check to Country Squire and Longhorns. And Stetson Bull is in the works. I don't know if Sarah got them actually handed out or not, but we have a formula and she's in the process of getting the checks to them to rebate the money to them for while they were closed. And second thing was, I think I forwarded the information to you. That was a request from Casey's to do curbside liquor sales. And quite frankly, I don't even know if that's legal in Illinois, so I asked Pat to do some research on that.
And I know it's been a long meeting already, and this is something not up for action tonight, but the short answer is yes, you can do that. You'd have to adopt an ordinance to permit it, and you need to impose some regulations on how that would work. So, and before I go too far on preparing an ordinance, and certainly you could put this on for subsequent agenda, but I don't want to draft an ordinance if the board isn't interested in pursuing it. But yes, it can be done if you decide to permit it. And if you decide to permit it, I would prepare some proposed rules for you to consider.
Well, I have a main question. Why would Casey's want to start doing that? Can't they sell liquor on the inside since they're open?
Yes, the request I got did not get into the whys at all. I imagine it's a convenience thing. It's like, Walmart will deliver your groceries out to your car, so you don't have to go in. This might be a pure convenience thing, or it might be so people wouldn't have to go into the store. I don't know which.
Okay, it just sounds strange to me. Okay, because you can call them and say, I want to buy this, this, and this, and you don't need any special permits for that I'm aware of.
They can do curbside delivery for everything except for liquor today.
Dave, when you're talking curbside, you're talking like, hey, we deliver it with a pizza? Is that what you're talking about?
No, the people would have to be in the parking lot and they would go out in the parking lot and scan the driver's license or IDs or whatever.
Okay.
And
All right.
verify it that way. Instead of doing it inside the store, they do it while a person was in the car.
I don't remember it, that letter, did it? I read it and I should have read it more closely, but was that to just this Casey or was that a form letter to all Casey stores? Or to all municipalities?
Form letter, ours did not get into that, whether it was a form letter or not. I would imagine it was for all Casey's.
Question I have, Dave, they had asked about liquor license change as a result of gambling. Would this qualify with the gambling machine?
No, that would be a whole separate topic.
Okay. All right. Right, Kathy.
Like I said, I read it, it just, I'm not getting any logic in it.
Probably come in handy in the snowstorm.
I'm thinking it's a dog-eat-dog world out there, and anything one business can do to give them a competitive advantage over another, they may try and do it. It might be that simple.
Yeah, the letter has a corporate letterhead from Acme, Iowa or something. So I think it's, and the two is just generically to village, city, county clerk.
Right.
So I think it's probably a generic one. They think they can make more money by doing it somehow, so that would be good for us, I think.
So what I will do is, I'm gonna ask the board members I'm gonna put it on the agenda for next month to decide whether or not we want an ordinance to do this. And then we would also decide if there was going to be a change to our licensing and an additional fee for this. So then Pat will have some direction on whether or not we want him to prepare an ordinance for this. So. That is all I had as a report from the liquor commissioner. As far as going into closed session, we had planned to go into closed session. And because Allison is doing the minutes and the coordination for Zoom tonight and everything she's got going on, and going into closed session and coming back out of it can get rather complex. We decided to put off review of the closed session minutes until Sarah will be coordinating a meeting or until we meet in person. So that'll probably be next meeting, and hopefully we'll be in the meeting at the fire department or at the Township Hall building. So we have no agenda for closed session. So we will not be moving into closed session. I guess, does anyone else have any subjects to bring up for our meeting tonight? If not, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
A motion.
We have a motion to adjourn. Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, Allison, will you do a roll call?
Joe Boyd,
Yes.
Kathy Brooks,
Yes.
Jim Campbell,
Yes.
Bill Morris,
Yes.
Pat O'Grady.
Yes.
Okay, I want to thank all the residents who might be attending the meeting for attending. And thank all our trustees. Richard, thanks for being here. Farnsworth, Ed, everybody, Brandon, thanks for joining us tonight. And we hope we'll see everybody at our next meeting. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.